Today, I'm back with Mega Movie Numbers, where we run down physical media by the numbers. First, we take a look at the top 20 selling 4K Ultra HD discs of a previous week. I give you my thoughts and recommendations on every single title there. And then, of course, we look at the market share breakdown, where we look at the different disc formats, everything you love, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, see how well they're selling in comparison to one another. And then, of course, we talk about the future and the state of physical media, but we're actually going to include a new segment here, and you guys let me know in the comments if you like this. I know people have been commenting, hey, what are the actual sale numbers? Can we find any reports on that? And I've been diving through the internet looking for it, blockbustering every place I could find to try to see if we could get actually some sale report numbers on physical media overall. And I think I did come across a source, a DEG, that does quarterly reports on physical media sales compared to digital sales and whatnot. So we're going to try to digest that chart on Q1 because we haven't done any of these quarters yet. So we'll look at quarter one sales for physical media. And you guys let me know once again in the comments if you actually like that new segment, or does it make the episode too long? Should we cut it? So let's get into the first, of course, the top 20 selling 4K Ultra HD discs of a previous week. So first up, we're going to have Chinatown, the two Jakes from Paramount. Yes, Paramount Presents line. I do want to check this out eventually because it's two titles here. We got looking like noir thrillers. They look like they could be fun. Young Jack Nicholson. So eventually, maybe in the future, I'll check it out. Next up, we got Dune Part 2 from Warner. Dune Part 2 is going to be on this list for the longest time. So that's just a staple at this point. Next up, we got The Last Unicorn from Shout Studios. I've heard good things about this animated fantasy adventure film, so maybe in a Shout sale. Next up, we got The Exorcist from Warner. Guest in time for spooky season. I wasn't a massive fan of the original like everybody else seems to be, but I got to the party way late, so maybe I'll give it another whirl. Next up, we got to have Alien from 20th Century. Happy to see Alien selling so well. I mean, we had Alien Romulus come out, so it makes sense. Next up, we got The Return of the Living Dead from Shout Studios. They came out with a new fancy steelbook edition, so it's a good horror movie. It's a cool looking steelbook, so you know why it's selling. Next up, we got The Fall Guy from Universal. That hasn't fallen too much off this list. Fun, rom-com, cool action stunt set pieces. Simple as that. Next up, we got The Lost Boys from Warner. Once again, another perfect spooky season movie. If you want a vampire movie, you got to check out The Lost Boys. Next up, we got Civil War from Lionsgate. I didn't super love this A24 film, but everybody else did. Next up, we got Aliens from 20th Century. Once again, riding on the coattails of Alien Romulus. Makes sense why people are picking it up. Next up, we got a new one finally. It's the Amityville Horror 2005 Shout Studios edition. I have not seen this movie. I've heard some decent things about it, so I might check it out in the future. Next up, we got a new one here, Repo Man, Criterion, finally on 4K. Have not seen this movie at all. Is it Emilio Estevez in this one? I think so, but I do want to check this one out eventually, maybe in a Criterion sale. Next up, we got Twister from Warner. I do like the Blu-ray here. I've not yet seen the 4K. I've heard the 4K is excellent, so maybe in the sale. Next up, we got The Boy and the Heron, Shout Studios, Best Animated Picture winner. I still need to check this one out. Next up, we got Jaws from Universal. Jaws pops up from time to time on here. To me, it's more of a summer movie, but I guess people are doing it for spooky season as well. Next up, we got a new one here for League of Their Own from Sony Pictures. Finally released the standalone 4K, which is awesome. If you haven't seen this movie, one of the best inspirational sports stories of all time with Tom Hanks and just a great all-star cast. Next up, we got Furiosa, a Mad Max saga from Warner. Fun, high-octane action movie I highly recommend. Number 3, we got Beetlejuice from Warner. Makes sense. Beetlejuice came out in theaters. People are loving that movie. Got to go back, check out the original. Makes sense. Next up, we got a new one here with Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street from Paramount. Great horror musical. Finally, a standalone release. It wasn't that Scares Volume 1 collection, but now you can just buy it separate, which is really cool. So I might pick that up in a future sale. And then number one, we got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 20th Century. This is an awesome entry into this franchise. I've always liked this franchise. Just fun, sci-fi, action, thinking movie. Really cool visual effects here. Highly, highly recommend. All right, now it's time to get into the home entertainment charts. We're going to compare an early week in September with towards the end of August. So we see that Ultra HD is only at 11% or so that week. Oh my goodness, we had a drop from 16% to 11%. Always like 4K is above 15%, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. Just not enough new 4Ks there to really drive the market. Blu-ray is basically down a couple percent as well. High definition format, I'd love to see them at least 30% of the market share there. And then DVDs back up 67%. They are the king, but it makes sense because Walmart be flooding their aisles with DVD titles, right? Getting ready for spooky season. They put a new slipcover on a DVD and are really pushing those formats rather than the 4K formats. I've seen their steelbooks kind of hidden away in other aisles. And I'm like, what the heck? Why are they not trying to push these 4K steelbooks more? And they're really focusing on just DVDs. So you go into a Walmart, 80 to 90% of their aisles, it seems like DVDs for the physical media movie market. So, yeah, makes sense why DVDs are selling so well. They're just more readily available in store. Of course, you have online, but some people love to just collect in store, especially the casual audience. They're not really searching for movies online. So until we see a switch where studios just push for the 4K and the Blu-rays and really switch the majority of titles available out there to those high definition formats, we know DVD is going to remain king for a long time. All right, so now to get into the new segment here where we actually try to look at some changes in sales numbers here from, I guess, year to year, at least within the quarter. So once again, from DEG, this was the information I was able to find on Q1 so far. Once again, diving into these types of charts and percentages the first time. Hopefully I don't make a mistake, but if I do, kindly correct me in the comments below. But first, just to read this statement here, the premium 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray format, which continues to appeal to collectors, grew 15.9% in the quarter. Its third consecutive quarter of growth. A list of catalog titles, including James Cameron's The Abyss, Aliens, True Lies, released by Disney in March, fed the trend. So it makes sense. A lot of people were waiting on those James Cameron 4Ks for the longest time. Makes sense. It's going to boost up the Ultra HD format, especially because it was really an upgrade from DVDs to 4K. There wasn't that in between Blu-ray jump for some of the titles in those. So it makes sense that that's going to boost up the 4K selling. So, okay, awesome. And now let's go ahead and bring up this Q1 2024 home entertainment spending in millions here. We see physical product Q1 in 2023 was 275.18 million. Q1 in 2024, 233.24 million. So it dropped like 15.24% from the year before. So that's a pretty big jump down. 15% less is quite a bit. I'm guessing just once again, not as many popular 4Ks out there, especially in the wild. Maybe people don't know of them, or just not as many new movies upgraded to 4K. So maybe they're limited there. And once again, people are jumping off the physical media train. Less collectors out there than ever before. I did a whole video on why collectors are disappearing, and I will link that video in the description below. And of course, maybe at the end of this video if you missed that one. But let's look at, we got digital sales here as well, like electronic sell through. We definitely see it's like double the size of the physical media area. No change there from the previous year, but that's still selling more than physical media. We got VOD, right? Video on demand. We say once again, it's almost double that of the physical media sales. And then, of course, subscription streaming. Oh my gosh, of course. That's just an outstanding number for subscriptions right there. 8,780.68 million dollars there. Oh my gosh. And so that had a 21% increase jump. So wow, maybe those people that were collecting physical jumped onto the subscription models, because that's way more massive than physical collectors out there. We already knew it was going to be a lot more, but to actually see the numbers right there and look at the difference, like David versus Goliath, oh my gosh. Wow, that is wow. That is wild. And then total digital, oh my gosh, you see that 9,788.50 million. Once again, a 19% jump up there. That is so wild. But you can also see that a lot of people are still spending on US home entertainment. You see those numbers increased over 18%. And you compare it to the box office in billions here. So I guess this is in billions, right? 2.9 billion. So box office is down 28 0.20%, so about 30% there. So you can see, I guess the people are not going to the theaters as much. They're spending more on home viewing, but it's not really physical media they're spending on. They're spending on mostly those subscriptions, right? With, of course, some VOD in there mixed in, but those subscriptions are just destroying it right now in the home entertainment market. What does this mean for the state of physical media and collectors out there? Where do we go in the future? Well, we know collectors, we're a niche market. We're probably going to shrink, but there's still going to be physical media available to us in some way, shape, or form. I believe so, because you still see the physical product from Q1 2024 selling 275.18 million. Once again, that's million there. That is a lot of money. They don't want to leave that money on the table. Studios are struggling right now. So even just that chunk of change, right? More than a chunk of change for those studios is a big help. So I don't think they're going to get rid of physical media all entirely. They might decrease it at the stores, and eventually in the stores, maybe a year to a few years from now, we'll see it pretty much depleted to almost nothing. We'll still have it available online. Studios still like their millions of dollars, so studios are still going to make some stuff available online. And of course, we got the boutique labels doing wonderful treatments out there as well. So at least anything, the boutique labels will be a saving grace for us, I think, for a very, very long time, many decades to come. But there we go. That was my breakdown, blockbusting analysis of all these physical media and digital numbers out there and box office and all this wildness. So once again, if you love seeing even more of this analysis from me, leave in the comments below that you love that new segment being added, what your overall thoughts of physical media world right now, where we're going in the future of physical media, and what have you been picking up recently. Of course, you love physical media just like me. You got to click that like button so we get this information out to more potential collectors out there, and they get to join this amazing community. And then, of course, you haven't already, click that subscribe, turn on that notification bell. That way you're alerted when a new physical media number video posts. That way it can keep you entertained and up to date all year long, and we have a great time talking them movies. But have a great day out there watching them movies. Of course, you love this physical media topic. Mega smash the next video right now. And thank you so much, my Mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.